to my channel, Peter Likes Books. Okay, can I just show you how sweaty it is in this car? I am like so burning up. It is like 84, but it feels like 94 outside. So, my husband and I went and had brunch at Cafe Patashi today. I had the omelet you can't refuse, bacon, and an omelet. Oh, I said an omelet. I'm losing my mind. And a cup of coffee and a bagel. An everything bagel with cream cheese. So you can go look on my Instagram, which is Peter Monn, if you would like to see. I have a Peter Likes Books Instagram, but I rarely post on it. I was gonna post and do all the Bookstagram things this week. I've done none. It's the last day of Booktube-A-Thon, and I have failed miserably. So, yeah. I am getting, and the thing is, I had so much stuff to do this week that I didn't really expect to do. Like, I thought I was going this week and I didn't have anything to do, but it was next week. So next week is going to be kind of my carryover from Booktube-A-Thon. I'm going to read all of the books I was supposed to read this week, next week is what my plan is. And everybody will say, oh, no, you won't. And yes, I will. I'm getting ready to go home right now and post this and post a video on my main channel, and I've already got my vlog up. And then I'm going to sit outside and read Eliza and Her Monsters, which I wrote about another 50 pages. Now, I will tell you this. Baby, Eliza's growing on me, okay? Like, people were really worried I wouldn't like Eliza and Her Monsters, but she's really growing on me. I'm really starting to like her, and I'm really liking the story. So, I would say before, where I was like a 4 out of 10, I'm kind of at a 6.5 out of 10 now. I mean, this could end up being a 10 out of 10. I mean, it's a close race right now, Eliza. We'll have to see. It's kind of one of those books that grows on you. I will say that. I mean, it's not, W-O-O-L. I will say that. It's not one of those books that, like, you open from the beginning and you just fall in love with. Okay, now, that's Eliza and Her Monsters. I'm going to do a full review on that on my channel when I'm done. I would also like to say that Windfall by Jennifer Smith, which I was so excited about reading. I've never read her books before. Did you guys read that Statistical Probability of Love at First Sight? I mean, is it kind of cheesy? Because this is kind of cheesy. It's kind of unrealistic, and it's kind of cheesy. And I really liked it when I was just sitting there and I put out 100 pages right away, but now I'm just kind of like, da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so, I mean, I can kind of already see what's going to happen at the end of it. I hate that in a book, don't you? Like, when you already know what's going to happen before the book's even halfway over. And then Six of Crows, I have this love-hate relationship with. Like, I go back and forth. Like, last night I was listening to it as I was driving, and like, I'm totally falling in love with it again. So I don't know. And it was interesting. I don't know who commented on this on my video, but she said, so whoever you are, thank you, because this encouraged me. She said, I used to never read fantasy. Then that car almost sideswiped me, and it was a police officer. She said, I never used to read fantasy. I started reading fantasy, and now it's all I read. And so I thought, well, I need to really give fantasy a try. So there's that. I want to say this, because I think a lot of people misunderstood. They a lot of people commented that the reason I'm having a hard time with my TBR this week was because I let other people pick my TBR, and that they weren't really books that I was excited about reading. I understand how it appears that way, but like, and I'm not challenging anybody, I just wanted to clarify this. I didn't put one book on my poll that I wasn't excited to read. So like, if there was a poll of 4 or 5 books, like every one of those books I was super excited about reading. So I was really excited going into this Booktube-A-Thon, even more so than last year, because every book that was on there was a book that I was like hyped to read. Does that make sense? I just want to make that clear, because the reason I have done so poorly this week is because of my own pure laziness of sitting my ass down and actually reading. It has nothing to do with the books, because I don't want people to like then look at my TBR and be like, well, if Peter didn't get excited about that, I don't want to get excited about that. Does that make sense? Because I do think people are a lot of times influenced by what we say about books. So there's that, and I don't know, and I'm kind of sad. It's the last day of Booktube-A-Thon, and I feel like I haven't done many of the challenges, and I haven't done any of the challenges, and I've done very few of the sprints. I'm planning on doing the sprints tonight, the last sprints, and I don't know, it's just kind of sad to me that it's over, and last year I really engaged in all the sprints and stuff like that, so But I'm gonna continue to do every readathon this year. You know, maybe one of them I'll do. I guess what I'm learning is I'm not really great at readathons. But I love them. I love getting excited about them and stuff. I would never have read a Monster Calls had it not been for Booktube-A-Thon, so I have that to be thankful for. And I probably would never have started Six of Crows. I probably would have got like a half an hour into it and been like, oh no, this is not for me. But you know, I'm like 8 hours into it and I love it. I mean, and 8 hours of listening to a book is a lot. That's a commitment as far as I'm concerned, and I'm only halfway through it. So, how are you guys doing on Booktube-A-Thon? I cannot believe, some of you guys have listed below in my comments, because I read every comment, that you have read like 10 and 15 books. I'm like, holy shit! Oh my god, I would die. But I actually, for the month of July, finished, I think, total like 7 or 8 books, which is good for me. So that's a good amount of books that I finished in the whole month of July. And maybe August we can, you know, hope for even more. I just like really enjoying a book. You know, like in June, I think I read like 3 books, and one of them was Big Little Lies, and I love Big Little Lies so much that just the idea of just sitting down there and just tearing through that book and just really enjoying it was so much fun that like I don't really care that I only read 3 books, because it was, to me, the enjoyment factor of reading the book that I really, really got into. Does that make sense? And I think that's really what reading should be about. I really think reading should be about, like, that's why I don't do TBRs anymore. Like, I do them for readathons, but I don't do them month to month, because like I like the idea of like next week going and picking a different book that I might be really excited about reading, you know? And when I used to do TBRs, I felt like I had to read those books. Like I felt like, okay, this is the next book, I have to read this book. And I don't want to ever feel like I have to read anything. I want to feel like I'm reading because I love to read, and because, you know what I mean? Like I'm challenging myself to read and that kind of stuff. So I don't know if that makes any sense, or if you feel the same way, or if you feel blah, 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 if you feel completely differently, but so that is all I have for Booktube-A-Thon Day 7. And I will be back tomorrow with my conclusion. Would you guys not die if I did my Booktube-A-Thon wrap-up and you guys came to watch it and I finished all 7 books? And I legit went home and sat down and read all 7 books back to back. Would you not lose it? When I was in college, and this is when I was still drinking, and I was not behaving very well, this is before I got sober, I had to write a paper on George Eliot's Middlemarch. Now, if you don't know, what you don't know is a lot. Middlemarch is about 1,200 pages. I don't know how I did it, but I skimmed Middlemarch in like one night and wrote a 10-page paper and got an A+ on it. How? I will never in a million years know, baby. No Cliff Notes, no faking it till you make it. I mean, I could tell you, I mean, now I don't know what, I have no idea what Middlemarch is about now, but back then I sure did enough to write a 10-page paper and get an A+. A+! I couldn't believe it. It was for my Victorian Lit class. Oh, I'm so glad I don't have those classes anymore. I was so excited taking those classes back in the day, but my God, I look back on it, it was pure misery. People are always like, what are some of your favorite books from college? And I'm like, well, I loved Frankenstein. I did, though. We read that for Victorian Lit. And I loved all the Toni Morrison books. And then, that might be it, I think. I don't know. The Pearl Buck's book, I had to read that for an anthropology class. What's that called? I can't remember. But with Olan. My friend and I would call each other. The Pearl by, no, Pearl Buck. What's that book called? They had Olan in it. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It's real famous. Oh my God, my friend Heather and I, we used to call each other and just laugh about that book. We just couldn't get enough of that book. It would say stuff about Olan out in the field. We would just laugh our asses off. That too was back before that was when I was still misbehaving. Anyway, that's not, The Good Earth by Pearl Buck, not one of my favorite books ever. Oh, I read The Color Purple when I was in college for a class, and that was fantastic. And I think that's about it, and that has nothing to do with Booktube-A-Thon. So, I hope you guys are having a wonderful last day of Booktube-A-Thon. I hope you read your asses off tonight, and I will see you tomorrow on the other side to do my Booktube-A-Thon wrap-up. Follow me on all my social media. I'm super active, and I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.